Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy, Nate Weitzer, on the East Coast. And it is Tuesday, and we are bringing you our player props video today. This is one we have been very hot on as of late, so we are feeling pretty good about what we've got for you today. Make sure you do like and subscribe to that page, as we got a couple other videos up for you today, and we are going to offer up you a gift card opportunity here. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page to be eligible to jump into the comments and let us know what you think about the player prop we're going to offer you here in just a moment. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the most high-profile game on the slate, Lakers hosting the Suns, and the most high-profile player in that game, LeBron James. I know we went back and forth about how to bet that game, spread, total, tease, which way or the other, but what I'm expecting is a close game, and I would just bet on LeBron's props with the Lakers. 8 guys out, I believe, including Anthony Davis out for a month. If you look at Bron's last 4 without AD, he's getting 33 points, 8.8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. This season, his usage rate climbs from 29 to 33% without AD. And we saw in this series in the playoffs last year, his usage rate climbed from 29 to 34%, and his points per game went up to 26 from 23 after AD injured himself early in that one. The Suns kind of contained him. I mean, he had 25 points in the third game of the season this year against Phoenix. That was still a feeling out stage for the Lakers. At this point, it's going to be all LeBron, Westbrook, and probably Isaiah Thomas with the second unit, as the Lakers are so shorthanded. And we know what he can do when he's just the top option. He can fill it up. I think getting even money on 27.5 points is a good starting point. Yep. But he can fill it up. I mean, 42.5 PRA is definitely a possibility. And just intriguing that on DraftKings, it's plus 800 for a triple-double. That's sort of a long shot given how his assists have been with Westbrook controlling so much of the tempo. But the odds are definitely enticing there, because I think we could just get a vintage LeBron game tonight. He's already been turning up with a 116 offensive rating, averaging 26 points, 8.5 boards, 7 assists in December. And, just really trying to will this team out of the funk they're in. And now with so many guys out in a game against the defending conference champs, he will certainly come to play.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Before I get into my stuff, this is what we want to make that gift card opportunity. So let us know what you think LeBron James's points, rebounds, and assists combined are going to be. Drop that into the comments, and you do need to be liked and subscribed to the page to be eligible to win that. Points, rebounds, and assists for him is at 42.5, just for those who are counting at DraftKings there. That's what the prop is. I prefer those points, 27.5 points at even money. I really like that. He also makes a bunch more threes. Well, a bunch more. He makes one more three when AD sits in this season so far. When he plays without Anthony Davis, he's making one more three a game. He also has made 3 or more threes in his last few appearances against, actually 7 of his last 9 appearances against the Suns, including all those playoff games. He has made 3 or more 3-pointers against them. Him to hit 3 or more threes tonight is plus 140 on your money. His prop there is about 2.5 for his 3-pointers made. So I like that. It's also a reason I like his points a lot tonight. I do think he's going to be shooting. I think when you've got all those guys out for him tonight, he's going to be looking for his a little bit more than he might be normally trying to find some for others as well. So I think points is great, but that points, rebounds, and assists doesn't feel bad either, because it's not nearly as much as you might think, considering if you think he's going to get those 28 points, getting the 15 combined peripheral stats is something that he should also be doing tonight, as he's going to be all over the place for them. So moving on to a guy who is still young, playing for not a very good team in the Pistons. That's Cade Cunningham, the Rook, number 1 overall pick. He's coming off a dud against Miami in terms of only scoring 4 points, but he did still have 10 assists. And he's had actually 10 plus assists in his last 2 games in a row now. So I just looking at that first, over 5.5 assists for him tonight, which feels very, very low considering what he's done lately. That's about even money at DraftKings. So minus 105 there if you like that. If you want to throw his points in there as well, you can get 24.5 points and assists combined, still at about minus 108. So some pretty good odds on your money. But just those 5.5 assists seem so small. That I would really consider starting there. You look at what he's done in the 4 games since Jeremy Grant went down, 17.5 points, and also averaging about 8 assists in those 4 games. And then his last 6 road games, averaging about 18 points. His usage rate has been super high as well, at about 27.5% in those road games. And you look where they're playing on the road. They're playing in New York against a team that is just awful right now. They're not good at literally anything. They lost their last 4 home games with a 109 defensive rating in those 4 games.
119, sir.
Sorry?
119 defensive rating.
Yeah, what did I say? 109? Yeah, 119. Yeah, it's brutal. It's bad. It's 119 points per 100 possessions. It's a lot. It's bad in general. In their last 10 games overall, their defensive rating is down to 3rd worst in the league at 117. So it really doesn't matter where they're playing, when they're playing right now. They're just bad. The Pistons are scoring. They've gone over in 8 of their last 10 games, playing at a very, very fast pace, especially on the road for them as of late. So all of this screams a ton of points and stats and all over the place for Cade Cunningham, and just looking at him being able to get 10 assists 2 games in a row, even in a game where he only had 4 points, didn't deter him from getting 10 assists last game. Why is this at 5.5? I'm easily taking that for about even money. That's just wonderful.
Yeah, and it's his first trip to Madison Square Garden for a kid that hasn't really shied away, shooting actually better splits on the road this season. You got to expect him, to continue to perform well in the spotlight. And yeah, you talk about the Pistons going over 8 of their last 10. We didn't want to do a whole video on this because who wants to listen to 10 minutes about the Pistons and Knicks right now? But I put in the article, one of our best bets today is taking the over in this game at just 207. The way the Pistons have gone and the Knicks have gone over in 8 of their last 11. Yeah. There's some exploitable team totals too for the Pistons to just get 99 points in this game against the Knicks team that's, like you mentioned, giving up 119 per 100 possessions and is starting to play Kemba Walker more out of necessity, which is going to leave them exposed, especially for Cade. If he can switch on to Kemba, he can dictate what he wants from that matchup.
And I do want to convey to everyone how strongly Nate feels about this game. He really wanted to make a video about the Pistons and Knicks because he's very, very confident that this is going over, but I couldn't allow it. So we just made sure to get in the props for you. But it is a very good bet, and in his article as well on playpicks.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then another game that I'd be intrigued to mention, but might not have the clicks with so many guys out for Miami. But Indiana here hasn't played since Thursday, and Miami's finished a 4-game road trip on Sunday. And the Heat are going to be without, of course, Bam and Jimmy, as well as guys like Cody Martin, Markieff Morris, and PJ Tucker ruled out tonight. So that spells good things for Karis LeVert. He's coming off a 31-point game against those Pistons. Dropped 27 in his last meeting with Miami about 3 weeks ago. And I know Malcolm Brogdon's probably coming back tonight, but I still like LeVert to get his, given the situation for Miami. His prop at just 17.5 points seems like a pretty good bet. And the Pacers, given their injuries, their rest advantage situation seemed like a good bet to win. So you can get plus 310 on LeVert getting you 20 points in a win. Miami's so shorthanded. They've been playing Max Strus a lot for their offense, and he actually carried them the last 2 games. But this is a guy rather flat-footed with a career defensive rating of 113. Not going to be a good matchup on LeVert. I don't know how they're going to handle him right now. Some tough decisions for Spoelstra in terms of finding offense and defense. Duncan Robinson's also been kind of abused at points this season. And if Tyler Hero plays, he's not going to be at full strength either. So like LeVert to eat in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. The entire, Heat lineup and a lot of their players are positioned to be on this team specifically because they make up for guys like Duncan Robinson, guys like Tyler Hero, right? So you've got Jimmy, you've got Kyle, you've got PJ Tucker, you've got Mark. All these guys are supposed to be there as that line of defense. Once those guards get past some of those weaker, wing players for Miami, and that's not going to be the case tonight with all them missing. So yeah, I feel really, really good about LeVert here. If you think Malcolm Brown is going to come in and mostly help him facilitate, and which he's been known to do as well. So the last one I'm going to go with, Josh Hart, a man after my own name. His peripheral stats, this man, as proclaimed by Nate, might be the best rebounding guard east of Terrence Mann, who plays in L.A., who we talked about in yesterday's player prop video, and he also continues to eat. But Josh Hart has been eating in terms of his rebounds. In his last 6 games, he's averaging over 10 points. He's averaging almost 11 boards, basically, in his last 6. He's also averaging 11 points and 6.5 assists in that time frame, averaging 36 minutes per game. Per 36 in his last 2 seasons, he's averaging 12.5 points per game and 9 boards, right? So, once he gets those 36 minutes, it seems like he's a good bet to get near 10 boards, as has been the case in the last 2 seasons. So, he is a guard with an incredible percentage rate, defensive rebounding percentage rate of 21% the last 3 seasons. That's insane for a guard to be getting that many rebounds on the defensive end that go up that way. So, that's a really high percentage of his team's rebounds there. And I think you feel good about him playing against Portland, who, is not very good on the road. It's what we know about them this season is that their splits at home versus on the road, especially on offense, are just putrid. They just score a bunch more points less on the road versus when they're at home, and the 8th worst effective field goal percentage. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity for rebounds. I think you look at Josh Hart, 12.5 rebounds and assists tonight. That's minus 118 at FanDuel. I think you stick with that one. You just go with the peripherals he's distributing, and that usage rate has gone up as well in the last 6 games. He's a guy who's putting up shots. So if you want those points and rebounds as well, since we love those rebounds, you can get that at 20.5. That's minus 120. I think you just stick with those rebounds and assists, 12.5. I mean, shit, he could get 9 boards tonight and only need those 4 assists, and you feel really great about that, right?
Yeah, I like the peripheral stats more with Josh Hart. I think he's going to be more focused on the defensive end and trying to contain Damian Lillard than getting his offense. So, yeah, the 12.5 rebounds and assists, when he's averaging 11 boards in his last 6, that seems like easy bet. And Portland happens to give up the most assists per game on the road. So you can expect him to get some dimes. And by the way, that's at least a 21% rebounding rate
in his
last 3 seasons. He's spiked all the way up to 26 and 27%, I believe, in 2 of those years. So, yeah, he's just a fantastic rebounding guard. Hard-nosed guy who's really changing the Pelicans' identity lately. And they've no longer been a laughingstock. Playing some really good defense and battling every night.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been watching Pelicans basketball that closely the last 2 seasons, especially since Zion hasn't been playing. But the fact that there's a guard who's, if you play him 36 minutes, he's going to get you 9 rebounds and is getting about a fourth of his team's defensive rebounding opportunities. That's insane. But either way, that is all the time we have for today as we continue to look to stay hot on these player props as we have been for the last week or 2. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page so you can jump in the comments and let us know how many points, rebounds, and assists LeBron James will have combined tonight against those Phoenix Suns, and we'll get that gift card out to as many people who guess it right. Until we see you next, happy betting.